and just one song just came in my mind. It was just going da 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 da. It's gonna be a big track, so I just named it B.I.G. Big. B came in the studio and he went, wow, that is a track. We had a Juggy there, Wide Bradley, Beat, all there, and we were doing albums, and people were signing albums, we were signing albums.
Who gets paid?
You know what? The money side is for music. It's a challenge struggling in the music industry. So that's the reason why I had to diversify. So I had to go down to tech industries, work with companies like Google, Sunseeker, Celtic Football Club. These are from my clients that I built apps for. I created the first Tumbi and Toll in the world. There's something called the Toll now. And then it was a bit of a controversy going on.
Why is that?
Meet Taj-E, a platinum-selling producer and artist who's worked with legends like JLS, Juggy D, and Punjabi MC. From creating chart-topping Punjabi and urban beats to building an empire as an entrepreneur and property developer, Taj-E's talent and hustle make him a true industry game-changer. Taj-E isn't just making beats, he's shaping the sound of generations.
First album was a few years ago. Working on the second album, we started using new algorithms in AI. I started working out what my human design was. We done Glock, like a couple of million views on YouTube.
I want to get a little bit personal. Is India dangerous?
My song came out there and it blew up. Like, you know, we're only 17. People will probably start sending you warnings. Calls might start coming in. You know, there'll most likely be a couple of warnings before you.
Behind the Sidhu.
Sidhu's track, I think the true story, the government. And he was at the front because he was a singer. So, and in shows, everything like that, he would just be at the front. I wasn't never in the front of it. You know, we had like a father and son type of relationship rather than brotherly relationship. COVID time, for me, it did push me down a lot. It was affecting me mentally. Everything's going wrong. What happened to me is I didn't know how to get out of that cycle. It took me a few years. This is why this whole break happened, because...
Welcome back to Take a Seat. This is the #1 channel for mindset and motivation. We bring on celebrities, high-profile guests, sports stars, and even music artists. We find out what they did to get ahead. And today's no different. We've got a music producer. He's already collaborated with Juggy D, B2, and even Bradley from S Club 7. Who remembers that? So please welcome Taj-E.
Yes, Sean.
How you doing, bro?
Thank you, brother. Thank you for having me on the show.
Lovely to have you in the house, my bro.
Thank you.
What's been going on?
That's it, man. Just been really busy. You know, working on the second album. First album was a few years ago. Yeah. So some people might remember it, some people not. But yeah, Too Sick and Twisted is now coming out. So we're working on the album, a few different singers on there. So talking with a few name collaborations going on. So yeah, it should be good, man. Should be a good one.
Amazing, man. Amazing. I mean, let's talk about Big, bro.
Big, yes.
That was an awesome track.
Yes.
You know, I'm sure people are shouting at their home screen like that was the
that was the main thing. Yeah.
So did you produce that?
I produced the whole thing. Yeah. So I was sitting in the studio one day, and he was in the in and out of the studio, and I was just making the tune and just coming up with some old samples, and just one song just came in my mind. It was just going da 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 da. So I was like, yeah, this is the one. And then I was just like, when you save a page on Logic, you call it, I was like, you know what, this is going to be a big track. This is going to be a big track. So I just named it B.I.G. Big, right? Just straight from there. Law of manifestation in the making. I didn't know nothing about that. So I was like, yeah, let me just put that in. Came in, then B came in the studio and he went, wow, that is a track. That's the one. And he goes, that's a big track. And I said, you know what, it's done. You know, and then he sang the tune and that's it. The rest was history, man. That was a big tune. That was one of the biggest tracks on the album, Sick and Twisted. Then we had good other collaborations on there, and you know, Vangteri, Juggy, everyone was on there. Really good album, and a lot of people appreciated that.
So I want to get a little bit personal with this, yeah, a little bit personal. Like, obviously, I've seen it on YouTube, and I'm suppose a lot of people have uploaded it on different channels. But I saw it with over 500,000, you know, sort of views on that. First of all, what does it take to compose that? Like, what's your musical creative flair? How does it come about?
I'll be honest. Recently, I just started to research it a little bit more in detail because we started using new algorithms in AI, and I started working out what my human design was. And when I looked at human design, I looked at my birth date, and what it did is that it took back a lot of 1,000 years of data. and everyone that's born on my date of birth, it'll tell you certain characteristics. So you can actually see anyone's characteristics or what they're good at. And mine came out with like creativity, intuition, like working out what's going to be the future, like certain things in the future. So I didn't know that. Actually didn't know that. So when I was doing all these songs and making all the music, I was just doing it naturally, like carrying on. And recently I just started learning, and one of my specialties is creativity. So when I'm coming out with music, I just come up with something that's unique, something that's catchy, a melody that's catchy, and then I start making out the
Where does
track.
that come from?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's just naturally, just inborn, like born in me, sort of thing. And I think it's my background is like my parents are in music. So my uncle, he was a artist. He was a singer. My other mama, he was a writer in India, and he's produced had a few hit songs. One of the songs was Hoya ki ni kudiye tu Southal di main bhi jatt ludhiane da. So that was his track, and he launched it with Mohinder Kaur Pamara. So that track done really well in South. And we were just like, when we were young, we were like always around, and our dads and all that, they were just having little bags, like just chilling, and they would say, yeah, just pass a song. So he was like, when we were young, we were just watching him. So, and that was naturally just inspiring. And then my brother was in music. He started doing more stuff, and he was in the Bhangra dancers, Great Indian dancers. So watching them, growing up, it was just, music was just around us. And my taya and everyone was just listening to old school music, like all that kind of stuff, really, yeah.
Having musical people in your family as your mama and etc., did that make it easier for you to go in down that line rather than tu doctor banna?
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like when I first came out with it, my brother, spoke to my mum. He's like, he wants to do the bit of the music for a bit more, and everyone was a bit nervous with it. Like, oh no, do this, do that. So having good my parents and stuff helping support that, I think that was a big blessing. Because I know a lot of Asian parents, they don't want people to go, and they don't want their children to go down that. So I think that made it helpful. And my dad, growing up with my uncles and everyone, they being around that music, they were used to it. So it was just like second nature for them. And then they just supported us, and we're blessed for having that. So it was good.
When a track like Big goes off, who else is behind it? I mean, you make a beat. Was you the singer on that one?
No, my brother sang that song. Yeah, he wrote the song. There was another writer that wrote the song. So that was another,
For those who don't know, your brother is
B2. Yeah.
Okay, so he's smashing up all of the scene in terms of doing all like weddings and parties at the moment as well. But yeah, coming back to it, who gets paid?
Well, it's what the money side is for music. It's a challenge. It's like a lot of artists are struggling in the music industry, like especially in the Asian industry, because the royalty systems, they're not as great as they should be. Like in the mainstream, they're a little bit different. You got PRS, you got studios, you got radio shows. You get different types of PRS on that. But in the Asian stuff, it's a little bit different. So for shows, when my brother goes on sort of studios and stuff, he gets shows, like when he goes on shows, he gets paid for those kind of things. So yeah, we get paid for gigs and DJing and stuff.
And for something like we're sitting at home watching Big and going, "Rah, these guys have made it."
Yeah.
What's the reality of that?
No, you know what? Reality is hard. It is challenging. I wouldn't say it's easy.
$100,000 check.
Nah, nothing. Numbers for me personally is not like that. So that's the reason why I had to diversify. So I had to go down to tech industry. So I've been running a sort of software tech company for about 10 years. So I work with companies like Google, Sunseeker, Celtic Football Club. These are some of my clients that I've built apps for. So when I first started out in tech side, I created the first Tumbi and Toll in the world. So I created something called the Toll Nut. So I sat there and I programmed the whole thing. So I'm a programmer as well. So programmed the thing and created all the synthesis and put all the sounds in there. And yeah, people loved it. It was the first toll that came out. And then I've done a Tumbi.
Is that like a piano sort of thing?
No, it's like a toll. You play it like so you can. Yeah, there's a few.
So
videos.
like if you've got like a piano app and you press the piano,
exactly like that.
The same thing,
same as for a toll. And then we done one for the Tumbi. So we're playing a ding ding ding, and it was like a full Tumbi on the thing. And then done this couple of those. Then we done. I started off doing another one called Talking Sing. Actually blew up quite well. Went to the top 2 paid apps on the App Store, and then it was a bit of a controversy going on because there was like a saying there. It they were slapping the thing, and the guys buggles were here and there, and so we had to say, look, we had to take it down. People started talking to us in India and stuff, saying, you know what, this is not happening. So we said, look, we don't want any controversy. Let's just take it down. But I was creating sort of apps basically on that, and then we started, working with corporate clients and started doing a lot of businesses apps for them. So that was my sort of background in that.
You're quite musical, aren't you?
Yeah, creative, musical.
I mean, I was watching videos of you, and you was playing this. It's like 2 flutes.
Yeah, 2 flutes. Algoze. Yeah, 2 flutes. Yeah.
How did you learn that? I mean, these things are like dying nowadays. Like, no one knows how to use these things anymore. When I saw you doing that, I was like, I don't think I've actually seen anyone playing that. It looks like a flute, but it's not.
Yeah, it's like 2 flutes basically. They play in the same sort of time. I got one today. I'll show you.
I think you need to bring it on.
Shall I bring it on?
Yeah, go on, bring that. Today's episode has been sponsored by Sean Land. We're growing a like-minded community on Discord. So if you click on the link in the bio, you can enter it absolutely free. Wicked. So you've got some instruments here today.
Yeah, got a couple of instruments.
Showcase it first of all. What are these?
So this is a algoze. So these are played by 2 flutes. Both sound the same. And this is like a traditional folk instrument.
So have you got to be ambidextrous, like use your left and right at the same time?
Yeah, you got to be doing it both at the same time. So one note, and then it just sounds better when you're playing with both. Versus 2 flutes.
But you can play by itself as well?
You can it's like a bit like a flute. You could sort of take one off and play by itself. So you can flute. Wow. This is like a flute, so you play with this one with the one. And then we've got a tumbi here. Traditional folk instruments. Back in the days, they used to play these songs, Chimkila, Mara. These are the stuff that we used to listen to all the time.
Yes.
So when we were growing up, that's where our influences come from.
100. And I suppose instruments like this help you make beats.
Yeah. That's what I record them through.
Because you can feel the energy of what it's doing, right?
That's it, exactly, yeah. So when we tune in these, we can, every time we make a song, we use some of these instruments and put them in the tracks.
All right, cool. So let's go through each one.
Yeah.
This is called
This is the tumbi. So you tune it from here.
Do you know where this originates from?
So this originates from Punjab. So Lal Chand Chamlajat is one that made this instrument, the tumbi.
So is that quite recent then?
This one? No, this is a long time ago. This is he made this a while. But his the funny thing is that his son was the one that taught me how to play the mandal. So I learned from him in Punjab.
Wow! So how old is the tumbi?
Tumbi is
since it's been created.
Is I can't remember.
100 years old or 50 years old?
No, I think it's probably over about it's hard to say. It could be around 100 years. Yeah.
Okay.
Easily, yeah.
Bruv, you are blessed.
Yeah, there's some of the other instruments, a flute. Flute.
Wow.
And then
who taught you the flute?
I'll be honest, all the instruments I just picked them up and started learning myself. I had no lessons. Even like when we were growing up.
What, you just blew out of it and just think it makes that sound?
That's the sound, and just like playing. Yeah, it's like all the instruments were like that. And the only ever had a lesson was with the mandal. So I only learned some stuff in India, a little bit about how the drum, the mandal, the tolki, like that's the only one I learned. All the rest of them I had to just pick up myself.
Right. Sorry, I don't know the mandal actually. Like,
the mandal is
like a tolki.
It's like a tolki, but it's like a cross between a tolki and a tabla. So it's got a tolk type of bass and this, but it's got a tabla sound on one side and a tolk on the other. So you play it like a tolk. So yes, and they used to use that back in the days with Kuldeep Manak on the Kare and all the shows and stuff. They used to use that instrument because they had a high pitched sound, was really like loud and stuff. So yeah, it was brilliant. That's how they use those ones.
Brilliant. And so this is the
algoze.
Algoze.
So this is the traditional one. That's the.
Bro, I couldn't even play one of them. You're playing two at the
You
same
have to go with
time.
that, yeah.
Bomba.
That's what it is. Yeah, Bomba clad.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that is. Do you know what? I was with somebody last night and we was
Yeah.
watching this together. And this is no offense to any other artist, but she was like, some of the mainline headed artists, she goes, this guy is talented.
Yeah, I did.
Because he can play all of these instruments.
Yeah.
Like, you got to have something about you.
Yeah.
You got to do it for the love and passion.
That's what it is. It's mainly for the love. You know what? Even when I started for music, I just like always done it for the love, the passion, and I never done it for money or anything like that. It was just for the something I like doing, and it just relaxes you. You know, like you're in a zone. Even when I used to produce music, we used to be like producing, and you used to be there for like a few hours, and like 5-6 hours at the studio, just there from morning to night.
Studio?
I used to have the studio in Southall then. So we used to have a studio, Soundpipe Studios there.
Okay.
And yeah, we used to have there, and it was just like, you just zone out. I mean, we used to go in, sometimes I used to be so zoned in, and you're just like, in a different mindset. And then someone used to open the door, come in. I used to freak out because it's like, shit, what's going on?
You're in
like,
a different world.
You're in a different world. Yeah, so
yeah,
as soon as you're in there, you're just like vibing. It's like a vibe, and that's it. You just make
I've seen
music,
it. I've
man.
seen it. A good friend of mine is Savak. Have you heard of Savak?
No, I haven't,
He drops, just made a banger with Savak. That's it.
Oh.
And he's worked with like Mist and a few of them.
Oh, yeah,
But when he's in the studio with the speakers there, lighting, he's just locked in and he
Yeah.
goes, no one, I'm not picking no one's call, bro.
No, that's it. It's just you're zoned and you're in a different frequency mindset altogether. I never understood it, man. I only realized what frequencies and all this kind of vibration stuff are recently in the last few years. But when I was doing all this stuff, I didn't realize what I was doing. I was just going with the flow, just naturally, just going with it. Intuition, yeah, that's you just going with it, and you're making songs. You're just whatever you're feeling. It's just a vibe, like that time. But yeah, that's it. Now we're just understanding what happened. Like it's amazing,
Is India dangerous? Because you touched on like a few artists. I think Chamkila.
Yeah, Chamkila, and
they shot him in the end. No,
They shot him in the end.
shot him, and the woman he was, and most recently, obviously, Sidhu MooseWala.
He got shot.
And if people start sending messages from there, how dangerous is India?
Oh, I'll be honest. Yeah, for me. I think we when I was 17, my song came out there and it blew up quite big. Ran Botavargi was my first song that came out there, and it blew up quite big. But I wasn't. My brother was like, we're only 17. I was only 17, and he's like, you probably don't need to go there at the moment because it's so big at the moment. It's like just stay here for a bit, so it's a bit safer. So we don't know what's going on there, and that was before all of that Sidhu MooseWala stuff happened. So for me, like that country is great. It has a lot of love, but they can also have the downside to it as well. And if you get political, if you go against maybe the government, if you're going against certain parties or cultural differences, if you do that and people don't like it, you might get a couple of warnings. You get this, but that country, you might end up getting shot if you're not abiding by the rules. I mean, that's how it is.
How did the warnings come?
People will probably start sending you warnings. Calls might start coming in. There'll most likely be a couple of warnings before you end up. And if you don't, if you continue, like I don't know if you saw the film Chamkila. Did you manage to see that? Yeah. So
the make on I think it was on Netflix.
Yeah, it came on Netflix with Diljit and done a brilliant job. Watched that so many times because I'm a big fan of Chamkila. So I've been listening to his songs from a young age, and he sung the songs in there so amazingly. But it shows some of the dark side of that can happen there, and he was targeted by the other party, whoever was in the in the film, but we don't know who it was, and I can't say who it was, because I actually don't know myself. But the thing is, some people say he got so famous, and other singers wanted to take him down because he was taking all the shows. Some people say he was singing other songs, like vulgar songs, as they call it. But the thing was, everyone was singing songs at that time. There was Qatar Ramala, my song, with Run Bota Ragi, which is one of the tracks. It was a little bit of a controversial song
Why is that?
because it's like they say Run Bota Ragi, pick up the woman and pick her up, and then it's one of those kind of things. So even when the song came out, my brother went out there as well a couple of times, and he was singing songs on the stages. And while he was singing, the women would walk off the stage because it was like it had a double sort of meaning to it. So that can happen, but if you're not careful and you keep doing it or you're doing too much, then you're gonna get it might end up happening. Something could happen.
What was the story behind the Sidhu?
Sidhu's track,
Because a lot of people don't know why he got shot up in that G-Wagon.
yeah, I'll be honest, like it's no one really knows, I think, the true story, or I mean, like what happened, who done it. It could be the government, it could be someone else. We don't know what really happened, but whoever done it, they covered it up well. You know what I mean? Because it was like there was no in today's era, like there's you look at social media, you look at phones. India's a massive country. It's got a lot of social media phones. I'm surprised no one saw it. I'm surprised no one picked up on it. That's interesting as well in that sense. And if they did, maybe it was squashed. Who knows? So I think he had a large following. He had a massive following. He had a lot of influence. So I think his songs, when he came out with some, they were probably against the government that was there. So I would suggest that. I think that's one of the main reasons he was going against a political party, going against something that wasn't likable there, and then suddenly, it just finished. That's my thoughts.
Sad though, what a talent.
It is very, very talented. And I saw some of the video. The guy was very positive as well. He's like, talking about positivity in some of the videos. And I never got a chance to meet him, never got a chance to collaborate. But what I can see, he was a great artist. And there's only, I think there will never be another person like that, that talent.
And if anything, he started a sort of new revolution in terms of the way people rap and the beats. He changed the whole game up.
He changed the whole game up.
He changed.
He had a
it to
unique
different
style.
vibe.
Yeah,
like
that's
people
what I loved
are rapping in India right now.
Yeah.
He made turbans really fashionable again.
Yeah.
Because he embraced it so much. He goes, "This is me, my identity." People want to do a turban like him now.
That's it. Yeah.
And
he set a trend. He was a trendsetter.
One guy.
Yeah. One person done that, and he was something unique. Some people were saying, he sounds a bit like Chimkila. He's got that vibe. He's got that energy on. And I think, he had his lyrics were different as well. People caught onto it. People in India, people in UK, and people attached to that. And he came up with something different. And I think that's what an artist needs to be doing. I think that's to stand out. Like even like now, it's been a big for me. It's been a big like break from my third album, Sick and Twisted, to now. But that was the reason for that was because I wanted to come up with something different. I wanted to find out what was going on in the world. That's going on. Like it's not just about the music, but is there something higher? And that's where I came into sort of mindset. And working out what's the secret behind this all, what's the secret behind life in general. If you want to make a hit song, what is a hit song? What's the formula? Yeah, because one of the biggest things that an artist is when they want to get the next hit song. They want to get the next hit song, and sometimes it's not always the case. You might pull out a song and it's not a hit, and you think that was a hit to me. I felt that. I thought that was going to be a hit. But then when I started looking into it, I spent a few years looking into it, 2-3 years, and we started building AI models into this. And we started extracting every about 2,000-3,000 songs that are the top Spotify streaming songs. And we built AI models around this, and we stripped out every song within this. We stripped out the song, the lyrics, the music, the beats, the frequencies, the melodies, everything and every frequency inside it. And we try to work out a pattern. So we came up with a few formulas of cluster models in the AI models. And we worked out like there was a loudness in the mix, and there was a couple of other danceability. There was a few factors that made up this. There's a pattern that was going on. But I think one of the biggest patterns was like, creativity. So if you come up with something a little bit different, that was the model, that was our AI was telling us. So now we've built that AI and we put it inside our internal models. And now we're using that to create this Sick and Twisted album. So I'm using our models which we trained. and we're building, we're building the album around that. So one of the biggest tests for me now is to forward test this, is to work out, is the model working? Is the song going to be a hit? Now, if the songs come out hit, then we'll be on to something interesting.
You say that, yeah, and a friend of mine played a Drake song, and he said, "What do you think of this?" I was like, "Yeah, it's really, really good."
Yeah.
And he's got millions and millions of views. And guess what? Drake didn't bloody make the song.
That's it.
They just copied his voice and they made it, and they can't even track down who's the person who actually made it.
This is when I started about, I think it was about a year and a half now. It's been, so AI just came out into the market, and cloning models came out. So you could clone out, Drake's songs and all these, and they started becoming a bit popular. So I wanted to always do the first one. So I cloned Kuldeep Manak's voice and Jamkila's voice, and I became the first one that started doing AI singing model in the Punjabi industry. So we released a couple of songs on there, and it was interesting because I brought back the old sort of singers, cloned their voice, and put them into the new music and the new stuff, and started doing a couple of tracks like that. Now for the new album, we're thinking there's another person out there. He's I think his name Brown Boy or something. He's doing a few he's doing a few AI things. So we came up with first, and then he was talking to us, and we said, this is the couple of models we're using, and we tweaked some of our own ones. And he's like, he started now coming up with a few of his own singers, AI singers. So we said, maybe we should put them on the album. Let's test it out. And so he's got a female and a male AI singers. So I said, let's get a song done, put it on the album, something different. So when I'm doing the next album now, I want to be creating something different within that. But it's not just the music that we're creating in the models. We're also doing AI videos and films. So the photography and everything is going to be like all realistic. So like, I'll show you an example later, but it's going to come out now in the next few days. So it's you won't be able to tell whether it's real or AI now. Wow. So that the models are gone really advanced now.
So you might as well just take my studio and me, and then put
it.
the best, put bloody Britney Spears next to me.
Exactly.
It'll save me studio costs, time, money, everything.
Yeah, you know what? I'll be honest. It's moving that way. People are going into AI podcasting. So they've cloned, like for example, your podcaster. They'll clone your voice, clone your body, clone your thing. You type in what you want. You type in whatever you want to say, and there you go. You've got content going on, and so you're pulling out content here and there. So I've been doing a couple of like our own photography ones on my Insta and stuff. So I've cloned our stuff, and some people think, wow, I got one with Donald Trump. Yeah, it's just a joke, but they're like, oh wow, did you meet him? I'm like, yeah, he was a good guy. And just for jokes, just say, but it's just people, like it's getting to that level where AI is sort of taking out a lot of industries, and it's getting hard to see what's real and what's not. It's getting so advanced now. Where it's going.
I mean, sometimes people use it on TikTok in terms of to sell their products.
Yeah.
And it's like, for example, there's this one slim lady I think she's from South Africa, and she's like a world-renowned sort of holistic person in terms of use these herbs and ashwagandha and XYZ, and then next minute people are showing her, then overlaying their products using her voice.
Yes, I've seen that.
Masking it, and then people are just going, it's her, so I'm going to buy that product.
They're doing the same thing with Elon Musk. I just saw so many videos coming out with them where he's like, they're doing a little podcast like this, and suddenly they switch it. He's not even talking, but they've cloned his voice, and then suddenly they've put in a new product, or go and buy this meme coin or something. Like they're doing this crypto thing, and they're pushing people in the wrong direction. But that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of people got to be careful. First is the voice, and it's not matching. You can see. But when it gets clever enough where people are, they're gonna clone the face, they're gonna clone the voice, it's gonna look exactly like the person's doing. You won't be able to tell the difference. So it's going that direction. So I think people be careful now with AI, because it's getting in to that level.
So you've got to be mindful of people like with that blue tick verified to know that's their real account nowadays, isn't it? Talk to me a little bit about your sort of whole musical career. We touched on Big. Before that was Run Botal Vargi.
Yeah, that was one of the first tracks, yeah.
And then after that, you've got one with Vang Teri with Jaggi D.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, that was a good experience. So Sick and Twisted had a few different singers on it. We had late Kaka Paniwala who passed away.
That's
Great
sad.
singer. Yeah, he was
Very good singer.
Very good singer. Yeah,
You knew his presence when you were sitting with him,
that's
the
it.
way he belts it out
The
naturally.
voice, everything. Yeah, he was amazing. So he sung a track on my album called Banduk. So we done that one. Then we had Jaggi D on there, Vang Teri. So I done a track on Veronica's album from Rishi Rich project. There's a few of them. I done a track on her album, and that's when we sort of started talking and meeting. And then Jaggi was like, I was like, yeah, we need to do a collaboration, man. Let's jump on the track. So yeah, my brother wrote the track Vang Teri.
What about Jay Sean? Did you ever come across him?
Jay Sean, I didn't manage. No, I didn't really actually get a chance to meet him. But yeah, I heard he's great guy, but I didn't get a chance to meet him.
Okay.
Met Rishi. Rishi went to his wedding as well. Great guy. Met him in the studio as well. We worked with Juggy. And then always talking to H Thummy. I think he's been on your show. Yeah, so might be looking at collaboration for the album with him as well. So yeah, different artists, and yeah, it was great. We shot the video in India. So my brother shot the video, and he made all the backdrops and everything like that. So yeah, it was a good experience. I think we done about 5, 6. Once we actually shot so many videos in 1 week. It was about 2 videos a day we were shooting in India. So we had a hired studio in Noida, so Film City. So we had like 2 videos back to back, and we had different artists on our label. I was like, we flew all the artists down there. Pranked him as well a couple of times. It was quite funny. We were in a car and we pretended that at the airport someone was attacking the car. So just like banging the window. The glass was actually cracked. Someone banged, like he was coming and he was just like acting and he just banged the window. And we were like, oh, someone's attacking us. And we started driving off. Oh my God, it was about 6 of them. It was too much. So we just like pranking them and everything. So anyway, so shot their tracks, and there was about 6, 7 artists there. And we just, back to back.
What's the difference between filming in India and filming here in the UK?
I think it's just the team that you get there. Like you get one person just like makeup, the other person like a bit of water. Oh, the other person's like you picked up. It's like you get a whole team of them. Obviously, the cost element. You're saving a lot of money filming out there.
How much does it cost to film out there?
I don't even know much about back then. It wasn't much. It used to probably, I can't remember how much they used to pay for.
A couple £100. Get your job done.
I think it'd probably be more than that because you had to hire the studio, then you got the camera, and then all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it would probably be more than that. But it was just the whole structure. You get a crane, the whole crane shots. You get the hot top cameras, the lighting, everything was just there. And we shot loads of videos there. DJ Dip's video, I think Gera De De, that track with Miss Pooja, that was shot there. We done my brother's one, Majajine. We shot that there. There's loads of songs. My first album was there.
Song.
Yeah, Majajine. And I made that song.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I made that song.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So some of the songs, all these.
There's me in my little KA driving around going, yo, and now I'm sitting with the guy who's
made all those songs. Yeah. So that was that. And loads of different tracks. Even like we do ghost production for people as well. And it's loads. Like like when they say we'll put the track and they put their name on it. I'll produce it. All those kind of stuff was going on. Yeah.
Wow. And so you ended up collaborating with Bradley from S Club 7?
Yeah, Bradley. So one of the my good friend, he came down to the studio. We met up with him. His name was Wide Ray. He was a rapper, and he knew Bradley quite well. So he also bought JLS. So we done a track with JLS as well before everything was going on. And then they came on X Factor, and it was good because we pushed our sort of content on there, and then all those guys were there as well, and all of them in the studio. JB, you got Aston, all of them. They're all in the studio. So we met them, and I can get some water as well. Sorry, from there. I'll cut it from there, yeah. So we met JB, JLS, and everyone, and then Bradley, he was introduced to us through the rapper, and we met. We had J Rock, Randy from the Big Brothers. Back in the days, they used to do a lot of rapping stuff. Mm-hmm. They were in the video as well. So Bradley came in. I had a beat in there. We had a couple of beats. He was like, "Yeah, I don't like this one." Then I think I made a video making one of the songs. It goes, "Na, na, na, da, 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 na, na, da." So I was making that sample from like a Chinese. It was a Chinese instrument, one of the Chinese instruments. So I was making some different stuff there. Made that song, showed it to him. He's like, "Yeah, that's the one, bro. Let's get on it." And then started making the beat. Came in the studio and amazing. He wrote the song in about it was about half an hour. He wrote that song in the studio.
Wow.
So there we were vibing, and he was like, "Bam, let me see the yeah," and he was like making the melody, and then he just wrote the song. Bam, recorded it in the studio, and he was an amazing singer. You know, one of the hands of like great singer. He was harmonizing the voices, layering them up, very trained. You know, like musically, like from when they were doing this. He's amazing. And then we just shot the video. Bam, we had a shot it in top cameras in studio in I think it was in Kingston in the house. Had loads of people there, and yeah, it
So
done really
what
well.
do you get for doing all of this?
That's it, man. I was like, it was good brand, as myself. It wasn't, as I said, it wasn't about the money. It was just about getting my music out there. People,
How was you funding yourself?
finding it? Help my brother. Brother was helping me with all the videos. I'll be honest, he's done a lot in with everything. From when I was young, he must, he saw probably this guy's like young, got talent. Let's just, let's work on it. Let's do it. And then he's helped me a lot. I'll be honest. I owe a lot down to him.
So you had obviously a collaboration with the Bandook, with Kaka Baniwal.
Yeah, Kaka Pennyawala.
Baniwala. Sorry, my bad.
No.
Then you got Dar Lagda.
Dar Lagda, yeah, we done that for Halloween, so it was like a
Dar Lagda.
Dar Lagda, yeah. It was a Halloween. That went number 1 on BBC Asia Network and tracks as well. So that was
Jack
good.
Galassi.
Jack Galassi, yeah.
And what was the last one?
Last one, I think we done Glock. So that was with my brother B2.
B2.
Yeah, done Glock. So
And how did that one go?
that was really good. That done. I think we had a couple of million views on YouTube.
Wow.
So we released with Rihan Records. They were working with Karan Aujla there, and yes, good record label. Pushed it really well, and yeah, that was a good track. A lot of people appreciated that track.
So what was the last track that you made before you gave it a break?
Well, the album it's been a while. It's been long overdue. So I didn't manage to get an album fully done since 2009 now. So it's been a few years now. It's been about probably 20 years or something, isn't it? Or I don't know how long it's been.
Yes,
it's been
nearly
a few
16,
years.
15, 16 years.
Yeah,
So-
15 years.
So
yeah.
what happened? When was that day that you was like, I'm not sort of doing this anymore?
Yeah, you know what? I always doing little bits and bobs after the album, but I just it was just I don't know. It's just something I wanted to do something more, in this industry. And at that time, I just there wasn't a lot. Like now, artists are doing a lot more now, so the scope of where to get to is higher. So like financially, the artists are now doing well. Before when we were releasing albums, the biggest artists weren't doing. There was only one or two. The I don't know, the presence of it, as you say, there was only a few that were doing so well. Now a lot more are doing well because we've got streaming, we've got Spotify stream, so they're making a lot more revenue now. And before it wasn't happening. We were selling CDs, so my
Yes.
album was on CD.
You used down ABC.
ABC Music Shop. We were sold. The albums were selling out. We were platinum selling.
You guys were having parties in
Bro,
there.
we were having parties, yeah. So we were doing album signings. So when Sick and Twisted came out, we had Juggy there, we had Widra, we had Bradley, B2, we were all there, and we were doing album signing. People were signing albums, we were signing. I was autographing all my album and everything. We had a great fan base. It's still there. Some of
It's
them.
not like that anymore.
It's different now.
You don't see people in CD
No.
shops. And
CD shops signing. There's no CD shops.
No.
No, ABC Music. It closed down. It was South of Broadway, and before that there was Verdi Music. There was one in South that closed down first. But they were selling CDs, cassettes. That's where we come from. That I remember my first album. We had thousands of cassettes, and I'm packing them, bro, one by one. So I'm picking up the thing, and we're packing them, and then we're sending them to the distributor. That's how we were like saving costs because
crazy.
that's how we were doing it. Boxes and boxes of them, but they all sold out. And then we had Sick and Twisted. I was packing those as well. They were CDs, like physical CDs, and they were just like, "Bro, this is the best selling one on the thing. So we were selling out on CDs. Sick and Twisted was brilliant,
So just on that front, the world has changed so much.
massively.
We used to be such social people.
Yeah.
You can actually see people coming in and having a nutch in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Could you imagine that now?
No,
Somebody's
no one
just
even wants to
dancing,
go in there.
everybody be like,
Yeah.
what you doing?
What you
Like,
doing
this
there?
is-
Where's the phone? Like, let
you know,
me.
exactly. When we're looking on the phone or
Yeah,
swiping,
that's it.
etc. But like the world's changed a lot, and you was on BBC News not so long ago.
On Sky News, BBC News. I was interviewed. I was a presenter there, so we've done a couple of different interviews about social, like because I'm from the app development. So they were looking for the top app companies that they wanted to interview on. I think it was around social addiction and things like that.
Yes.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So that was a few years ago. So I was there presenting, and then we had a couple of controversy ones because they were talking about Alexa on one of them.
Right.
And I think from there, I'll be honest, I had a couple of interviews, and from there, I think they must have, quietened it down for me presenting more because I got a little bit controversial, and because they were like, they were talking about the Alexa, and I was saying, yeah, these devices do listen to you. And they were like, no, that can't be. You don't say that on live TV. This is going to cause a bit of an issue. I was like, if you think about it now, like when you're sitting there and you say, Alexa, and it starts, it starts talking. So technically it has to be listening to you. And that data is also being fed back to the servers. So every device is listening, when especially Alexa, that's the biggest one. You don't press a button and say, "Oh, hi, I want to talk to you." Like some of the phones might do that, but these devices. Have you ever noticed when we're talking about something, and then suddenly, yeah, we want to go to Dubai, we want to go on a holiday. Suddenly, you haven't searched it on Instagram or Facebook. Suddenly, you start seeing an ad to Dubai, or you see we see some kind of product down there, like, "Oh, you come and see this thing." You'll see that kind of ads coming up. And people thinking, no, they're not recording, but it's clearly something going on there.
They're listening.
Yeah, somebody's listening.
They're listening.
They're listening.
They know how to commandeer
That's
a
it.
whole. It feels like sometimes, like you've got a few people in the world who lead the world, like music artists, even.
Yeah.
And there's people behind pushing them people, because sometimes you see a music artist release a song, and within minutes it's millions of views already.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah.
not physically sort of possible.
No.
And it's like, so when you see millions and millions or 500,000 views or something, you think, well, I have to listen to it now because everyone else is.
exactly.
And I don't want to be left out. FOMO. Feeling
That's
of
it. It's a
missing
FOMO.
out.
Yeah. You see this hype, this trending. You want to. What is the hype about? Let's watch
And
it.
even
And
like
there's another view.
I don't know if you saw the Super Bowl the other day.
No, I didn't
It
mention
was a
it.
Super Bowl, and it was Kendrick Lamar.
Mm.
And then there were so many controversial things in that.
Yeah.
With the Super Bowl, he had this A on his chain, and that sort of represented of someone who's underage.
Mm.
And then he had this feather on his cap, which
Yes.
sort of, represents something else.
Mm.
And then it was like Serena Williams, the tennis player, started doing her little two-step sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it was like, that was Drake's sort of one of his first girlfriends was mentioned in there. And then it was something else about Drake in there sort of thing. So there was all
It's
these things
subliminal
they're
messages,
piecing,
isn't it?
subliminal
That's what it
to
is.
go, this is all okay, whatever's going on.
They do that a lot. Sometimes, come on, man. Like even if we're looking at COVID and stuff like that, these are all like, things that they're just putting out there, and you don't know what's real, what's not. And I think they always, sometimes personally, I think they're always putting messages out there just to show that we're here, we're watching.
Do you
we're listening.
believe in like there's a higher sort of Illuminati and they worship the devil and they make you do stuff?
You know what? I've heard stories. I haven't experienced it yet. We're not big enough there, but one day they'll probably phone us saying, "Yeah, listen, you need to come to one of our parties, mate." But I have heard stories because I was part of this this group, and the guy was telling me there he was doing some stuff within all sorts and things, and he's like, "I've got one of the parties I think were held by Rockefeller, and they were at a hotel, and they would fly in helicopters, and people would come, these top elite people, and they would just be doing these kind of different parties, and again, I don't know, probably devil worshiping, all sorts of shit going on. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, and they were telling me, this is the guy was telling me that this is stuff that could be going on.
This is a
going on.
thing.
This is the thing. Yeah, it probably does happen. It does happen. But you know what? There's a lot of stuff that happens in the world. I'll be honest, and there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of news. I personally, I don't watch the news, so I stay away from all that kind of stuff because my mindset now is just, I want to keep it clean, and I want to keep, the information coming in my mindset as clean as possible, and so I meditate daily. I do, things like that to, keep my mindset where I need to be, and I don't hang around with a lot of people. My circle's very close, so for me, like, I just want to keep the right people around me. So it's just, otherwise, it affects your work, affects everything in your life. And I don't want to watch what's going on the outside. There's all sorts going on there. If I'm in my own lane and I'm my own thing, I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm just doing my own thing. Really, that's it.
Like people, especially when you're in like the music industry, people think that you need hundreds and hundreds of people around you.
Nah, yeah.
But when you need help and you call one of them,
That's it. No one, yeah, they won't be there. But you'll be honest, like, if you can keep just a couple of the right people around you, I think that's more than enough. People that will help you go to the next stage, not the ones that will pull you down and like take you in the wrong direction. And the people around you is going to be a big influence on your life. If you're with the wrong people, they're going to take you down the wrong path. They're going to, and their lives will probably start affecting, yours.
Tej, like, you've got a lot of attention, especially in your younger days as well. Like you're 17, 18, you're having, all of these people around you, you're having hits, you've got S Club 7, people from there, JLS, Juggy D's all around you, you've hit the highest, your music's gone viral, and then you stop.
Yeah.
And everything goes quiet.
Mm.
And how do you deal with that difference? Like, it's like doing a property deal, yeah, and you're doing 1 million and 1 million and 1 million, and then you stop, and then that buzz is not there anymore.
That's what it was. Yeah, it was, the buzz wasn't there for me. Again, like, I wanted to go to the next level, but I couldn't see it. Like, what is the next level for me? And I think what I was looking for was external changes. Why isn't certain things changing externally? And this is one of the biggest things why I had to sort of take a break and reflect on what's going on. And this is where mindset came into my sort of journey. So when I had to stop, I had to understand, look, well, what's happening is, there's this going on. Things, without music, my other businesses started getting affected. So when, it was like a direct correlation between them. So if I wasn't doing music, the other businesses were going a little bit. So I had to do a little bit just to keep it on. Now, when I do music, for me personally, the rest of the things start working better in like my, other businesses I'm doing, like in property and all that kind of stuff. They start working better for me. So I'm seeing that, yeah, there is a relationship between them and it's part of me and I have to, continue. But the reason I sort of took that step was to really reflect on myself. What do I want to do?
How do you deal with that opposite, of keeping busy and being in the limelight and then nothing's happening?
Yeah, it was just.
How does that affect your mindset?
It was a massive different. Like for me, it did push me down a lot. Like mentally, you're not there, you're not doing it, you're not doing what you love. It was affecting me mentally. So yeah, I had a down time at that period. It took me a few years, even like around COVID time. Business started getting affected. We had a couple of sites that we all got 8 houses that we were trying to build in Reading. Those got affected. Then I had another 2-3 projects in the app side. They got affected. Everything started getting affected. And it was like a cycle. And then I got into a cycle of shit, everything's going wrong. And when you get in that cycle, what happened to me is I didn't know how to get out of that cycle. So you're like in a maze in your own little matrix. And when you're in your own little matrix, some people can't even get out. But it took me years. It took me a few years. This is why this whole break happened, because I didn't understand what was going on. Everything, I was looking on the outside. There's a lot of stuff. Oh, that's not there. This not there. When you're looking at external stuff, you're not understanding what's going on. Then I started understanding, oh, okay, this. Then I turned into religion. I looked at different religions. looked at, Christianity, read the Bible, went into Islam, looked at the Quran, read a lot about that, and then I started looking into Sikhism, Buddhism, and then just looking at what is this going on, what is the truth, and seeking the truth. And that's when I started getting into more spirituality, going into mindset and changing everything. And then I was mentored by Bob Proctor, Dr. Joe Vitale, working at everything on the mindset, and understanding everything about what is needed, what are we, who we are, what we're here for, what our mindset, and then started to becoming aware of everything. And only then once I started understanding that the thoughts are controlling my reality. Oh, I'm thinking this is happening. Oh, I'm thinking good, this is happening. And then I would understand one day everything would start clicking, everything would start going well. And then start understanding, what is that? Becoming aware, why is everything going well on one day? Why is everything going wrong on the other day? Suddenly one day everything is just phone calls, phone calls, phone calls, everything's going really well. Next day it will go wrong. I mean, like, not wrong, but like it would just go quiet. And then you think, what is this? What is this like kind of changes? Then I started understanding, oh, that's the flow state. Oh, okay. When you're in the flow state and your frequency is there, oh, that's what happens. Then I started to understand it all. Oh, okay, this is what's happening. Oh, okay, fine. All right. Then once I started understanding that and meditating on it, understanding it, now I'm in a cycle of, okay, cool. Now I'm at the right frequency. So before you want to get manifestation, you want something, you got to look at the vibration. What vibration are you in? What frequency are you in? And so when the mind is in the right frequency and the right body, then you can start seeing what you want. And then it's just effortless. You got to let it go. You could, that's why I read all the books and the religion, because it started having messages and different teachings of everything. Like the Quran will teach you about the path, about God. It will teach you about everything. And that helped me a lot to understand what the whole program's about. And then understanding that people were understanding, oh, you need to escape the matrix, you need to see this, you need to see that. And then I started understanding it's all about the mindset. Everything came back to your mind, your body, within you, what's there. So that was my belief, and that helped me sort of understand what I needed to do and how to reset.
Is there one belief that you mainly believe in now?
I don't now. I see all, like, if it's like you're talking about religion, I see all religions as positivity now. Like, it's all right what they're saying. What's happening. But in terms of my belief, I believe that you inside you have control. If you can be aware what you're doing and what you're doing, I think we have the ability to change the reality. That's my belief now. So if you get into a certain mindset, you can change the quantum. So that's where my sort of understanding is. So you can do it if you set yourself in the right mindset. So you have to be there.
How does this transpire into your music?
Yeah, this now, it's this mindset, meditations, and the spirituality side of things transforms not just in music but in business and everything that I can do. Anything that I'm involved in, it will change the whole aspect of it. So even if it's music, or if it's business, or it's property, or whatever I'm doing, it will change everything, because it's all one. So anything I'm related to, it can have a good effect, a positive effect to it. So I'm hoping, let's see, I'm not expecting that my next album, I'm just expecting it to put it out there. I'm going to use whatever I have in me in terms of mindset trading, and all the spirituality that I have. But once I get it out there, we'll see. This is a good test. No, it's a good test to see how far this goes now, how big it can grow. So I'm going to see how many followers, how many things, and you'll see. We'll it'll be a good test for me, to be honest.
How much has Bhangra changed over the years? So when you were making beats to you coming back in the game now, seriously going, I'm dropping an album, let's go and get this, I'm a bit more ready. How has the environment changed? How has Bhangra changed? How has it evolved?
Bhangra, it's phases. It's like fashion. So I'll say, like, when we first came out, there was Desi. Then when we started doing it, there was then a fusion of urban. We've seen a big cycle. Now then it went into, like, Sidhu, MooseWala, and other rappers. Then it became like hip hop style music. I was doing hip hop back then. When we were doing it, I was fusing music within urban and things like that, just experimenting. But then it became a trend. People adjusted to it. They adjusted to the sound. They liked it. Now people are doing it, and now I think there's a flood. There's too much now. When there's too much, then the cycle changes back again. So I think personally, I think the cycle is back to Desi. That's what my album, Sick and Twisted, is going to be around Desi. It's like a Desi sort of sound, but with some urban-y sort of thing, but concentrating on that, like that kind of thing. Because I think personally, everyone, if you hear too much of it, it gets, you just get flooded, and you want something different.
Have you ever produced a song that you thought at the time, this is ahead of its time, boy?
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Yeah. Even like when I came up with Dar Lagda, that people didn't hear that type of music before. It was using synths, and I'd have that kind of music, like that kind of synth, and that was I think that was ahead of the time. People were doing different things, but I was coming up with different types of music, and all is moving forward. I want to be coming up with something creative, something unique. Like now, when we do this album, it's gonna be unique sound. Because we're working with different tools, and we're gonna have different visuals. So as I'm saying, the music videos are all gonna be different. They're not gonna be just standard ones. It's gonna be storylines. They're gonna be films that match the music. So this whatever the topic's gonna be, there's gonna be a theme, like a movie around that thing. We're all in AI and stuff. So it'll be interesting. That's why I want to always come up with something unique.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
So take me back, because you seem like a very musical person, and it feels like it's in your bones. It lives in your bones, man. Like, I see you, I talk to you. Yeah, you're a cool guy. You're good to talk to. You're good vibes. And then when your musical side, when you start playing instruments or vibing through, it's just like wow. It's like feeling like I'm next to a star right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This guy's special.
Yeah.
Are you born with that, or do you become that? So I want to just go a little bit back, sort of to year 6, primary school.
Yeah. 6. Yeah.
What was young Ted
childhood? Oh, mate. When I was in school, even when we started high school, or even like I'll be honest, even junior when we were in the first school, I just love music, so I would make my own little band, Bhangra band. So we just started there. We just started. I had a couple of people. Yeah, you do the door player. You do this. I'm the singer. Let's just do it. So we were just started, and then high school came, and then again I formulated a band there called the Desi Boys. So I had a couple of friends say, you know what, who's in it? Let's do this. So got one guy, my friend Babs. Very good, very nice guy. I play golf with him here and there. He's actually the first Asian football referee. So there's 2 of them. There's Suk and his brother, and the Babs. They're both referees. Play for I think the Premier League or whatever. I don't really watch football, but they're referees. I see them. I'm like, bro, proud of you, bro. And, there's a couple of people that are in our school, and then you'll notice them now. That you probably know about them now. Very good friend of mine, Magic Singh. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the guy.
Yeah.
He just recently done a show with the Penn and Teller. Great guy, and he was in my school, well, Cranford. We were there. He was, we were doing stuff there. H. Tummy, a couple of years older than me. He was in my school. So, and Natasha Tar, she was also there. So we had a few artists, like a few people in our school, just that that were there in the UK. And started off in about year 7. I started formulating a band. Got a couple of tour players, a couple of dancers. I was a singer. Played the tumbi. And there's a footage of me on the internet. And one guy recorded it, and you see me there. I was thingy. So yeah, just been doing it, man, since a young age.
But what made you be in school? And because we've had people here who are entrepreneurs, and they're going, I bought a pack of sweets and I started selling them in the playground. And you're like a music artist coming in going, I formed a band, bro.
Yeah, that's it. I had a band, bro. That's what it was. I think that what is as I said, I think the influences from my brother, the family. They, like my daya, my chacha, they always were listening to music. They loved it, and I think it was just from generations. They were they were playing music, singing, writing from that musical side, and they were we used to always watch them. And my dad would come home and he was like, "Yeah, this is my uncle. Let's watch a video of him, and he's based in Philippines. So he was like, he came from India, moved to Philippines. Not Philippines. Sorry, went from to Finland. So he went from India to Finland, and then he was doing music there. He like got there, got his vaja. He was like singing, very nice voice, and we were just sitting there watching his thingy. Like that was our like Friday night, thing. We would watch this there, watching his thing, and we were just getting inspired. Like, oh, that's our family member. If he can do it, we should be able to do it. Then we watch our uncle. He would release a track. He came well, done a few shows. We watch his songs. He's singing his thing and thing, and it was just around us. And so we were just like, you know what, this is the one. We should, definitely do it. So just start picking up the instruments and start go for it.
What was your relationship like with your brother, B2?
Yeah, we had a very good, still got a good tight relationship with him, and been, all my life really. He's someone I looked up to, always put there as a like protective type of father role as well, not just a brother. He was like there as a father, and we had like a father and son type of relationship rather than brotherly relationship. So I think my dad was always like, he was working Monday to Sunday, at the shop. I had my mum working, and then they were doing overtime. They were like British Airways. They were just like standard family sort of thing, and it was just the kids really. Everyone just looking out through each other, and then he would just be there. I remember we were in Southall, and my brother was like, "Oh, I want to get a tumbi," and he could never. He wasn't able to get a tumbi, for example. And then my sister was like, "No." From there, he would just play tumbi with his mouth. So he would go, "Oh." So that's how he used to play the tumbi. So we started like learning like that, which is our favorite mouth. Yes, I think. And then my sister was like, "Yeah, no, what? I'm gonna save my dinner money up. I'm gonna go and get you a tumbi." So she started off, and then she got him his tumbi. From I think it was a musical shop, bought him that, and that's when he started playing and doing stuff. And we were just watching him, and we were like, I was like inspired by watching him do that. And then he would get that, then I would get a tolki. Someone, we got us a tolki, and we were just like jamming, and then we just started jamming when we were young.
Did you ever feel any competition with him?
Nah, because what it was, he was a singer, so, and I was the music producer. So we had two different roles, we never sort of clashed in that sense. And he would just, we never had that sort of competition.
Do you ever felt that he took the limelight?
For what he was there for, he was at the front because he was a singer. So, and in shows, everything like that, he would just be at the front. So I didn't really mind, I'll be honest. I was just, there, and I just wanted the music to be heard. It was for me, was that. And you'd always like appreciate that, my music's been done like on shows, my music's been done by Taj-E, and we'd always get that recognition. But I wasn't never in the front of it. A couple of shows before, when we started, we were doing like, I was out there doing a couple of at the front forward of the stage on the medley. I was like more just, I was just comfortable in there really at the back. I just thought, let's do it. But now different. Now I'm just trying to come up with my own sort of brand as my producer, and pushing a different sound. And I just want to put sort of different creativity now in the market. So something different now.
Because you see with Asian people, they start having a lot of competition with each other very quickly. 1 minute, we sat together as ikkate khada pita.
Yeah.
And then it's like, who are you? Tu kaun hai? Main kaun hai? Like,
that's it.
What,
It does happen.
Got to prove, like, how do you keep that healthy relationship?
So to me, I'll be honest, like few years ago, it'll probably affect me. And you'd have that kind of, oh yeah, I don't like that person. Or you'll have that kind of thing. Now, because of all the meditations I'm doing, but if someone's bad to me, I'll just give them love. But that's it. I'm not in competition with anyone now. But my focus is me and God. That's it. If he says it's cool, I'm done. I'm just pleasing one person. That's it, bro. And as soon as I have that mentality and have that mindset, but the rest of the world, they can do what they want. I'll be honest. The fans are there. People love what I do. They appreciate that. What I'm doing. But I'm there. I'm doing my stuff. But I'm not in competition with anyone. I'm not hatred with anyone. I have no bad blood with anyone. I'm not, like that. If someone shows bad energy, I just give them love, because I feel that the stuff I'm learning and understanding and it's all about karma. You know, if you give bad energy out and you give bad stuff, you're going to receive bad back. And the things what I'm understanding is that we need to be cleansing from not just us, our memories and our mindset. We need to be cleansing a whole generation from the beginning of time to now that's connected to us. So that's our parents, our ancestors, our grandparents, you know, all the way back to the time. That's the stuff I'm doing, because if we don't stop now, it starts passing down to our children, and that energy goes down to them through our system, you know, and our energetic spiritual system goes down to them, and then if they don't know what they're doing, they're going to pass it down to their children, and the cycle continues until it
So
stops.
you believe in that generational sort of curse, sort of it's
Yeah,
time to
I wouldn't
break.
call it a curse. I would call it more like an awakening, and having that spiritual awakening to understand that, okay, this is what you need to be doing moving forward. And if you're not, then if you're not understanding what you're doing, I think it can easily just keep going and going, and then until that person understands it, then they can stop the whole. A bit like, yeah, you say a curse, but you know, I would just say it just needs to be fixed. That karmic energy needs to be fixed, and that's the stuff I'm doing.
It's
Yeah,
like that taught behavior from generation to generation, but it
yeah,
takes somebody goes, no, I've read a book and that's actually different.
yeah, yeah.
It's
And
not
and
how
and
you
that
make.
and that energy can be for anything. Like it could be that memory can be for money. It can be for something like, you know, something like music. If you might have a bad, like, if I have a bad taste of, like, oh, music is bad or it hasn't done well for me, my little one, she's a piano. She plays piano, and she was started when she was like 5. I didn't even like doing it. I just bought the piano, put it in the house in the hallway. I said, you know what, let's just see what happens. And I'll just you know, played on it, jammed on it, and then she started just playing it. And now she's just like, you play a couple of songs, like a little piece, and a little piece, and she'll pick it up straight away. So she's got that kind of understanding that, you know, just hearing it and playing it back by memory. So she could play like Harry Potter, she could play all these kind of different songs, and she's just babbing it out, like, you know, through memory. So I'm just saying, like, if I don't fix myself, I can affect her sort of energy going forward. And so yes, it's this is why karmic energy is quite important for me as well.
It's almost a way of like fear tomorrow, because tomorrow is coming, you know, and whatever actions you do, like what goes around comes around. Do you know what I mean?
That's it.
Like,
Yeah, you give, you notice, like, when you start becoming aware and awakened, you start noticing that, okay, if I'm having a bad day or I'm thinking negative thoughts, everything starts going bad in the day. When you're in a right vibration, when you're thinking good, or you're thinking about the thing that makes you happy, you'll see that vibration of everything around you will start going good. Deals will start happening wherever you're doing in business. Things will happen better for you. But you know, I think having the right mindset was a turning point for me, and that's helped massively with all this. And it's
mm,
going to help for generations, because then you can, you know, you got kids, you can teach them what they need to be doing, how to control the mind, really.
mm,
And I think that's important.
love that energy about
Mm,
you, bro. Really do.
yes.
So back to the music.
Yeah.
Tell me a track that's quite close to your heart.
um there's you know what, there's so many. I'll be honest, there's so many that I've done, but I'll be honest now, like, you know, there's countless tracks I've done. A big was great, one that's, you know, there. Run Botoragi was one of the amazing ones. And then we had, like, you know, Banduk and all these, Glock was great, Dar like that. I don't know what, they've all been amazing. You know, like, I can't just say there's one. There's been countless ones that I've, you know, seen the response for.
Is there any like off the record stories behind any of them?
There's been a lot of tracks which haven't been released, and you know, you do a song and then it doesn't get, you know, we decide not to put it out. So there's been a lot of that, but I'll be honest, like, you know, like, now my mindset is just about, I'm trying to sort of, you know, I'm pulling out some of the stuff in my Insta about stuff that I've done before, but there's going to be a point where, you know, it's going to be like, now the new content comes, it's going to be about the new content. So then it's just going to be about that present moment. So I'm going to forget the past. I don't know what's happening in the future, man. I'm just going to be focusing on that time now.
So how do you get recognized now? because the market is very different.
Yeah.
There's a flood of music,
So,
left,
yeah.
right, and center. There's new people on the block. You got Daljit there, you
Mm.
got Karan Aujla, you
Yeah.
got all of these big stars who are just
Mm.
out there that people are rapping to. So they're gonna be like, who's this guy?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, is he some old school guy? Like, kind of come back, or how do you get in that new mix? How do you
See,
wedge
yeah.
yourself there?
It's look, as I said, like, you know, that comes down to competition. How are you going to be bigger than the other person? And when I come back to my mindset, if I'm not in competition with anyone, I don't need to be. You know, like going down that route of I want to be bigger than Karan Aujla. I know these are singers, and there's, you know, I'm a producer, so we're in a different market in that sense anyway. So when we're comparing ourselves, I don't even want to be comparing myself to anyone. Even if there's better producers, I'll be like, well, that's it, man. This is me. I'm in one path. Everyone else is in their own path, and I'm just focusing on my path. That's it. Straight to the end. That's it. And I'm not in competition. As I said, no one's. I would say no one's better than me, and I'm not better than anyone else in this world, in life. You know, and that could be not just music. It could be in business, in anything. You know, that's my motto, and that's my mindset, and I'm just keeping it in that lane. And that is it.
When you're making a track, how do you decide that track is done?
Like in terms of if you think that track is a hit and you think, yeah, this is it, like sort of, or
Like-
do you think it's finished?
Is it finished? Like you're making it and you're going, that's it, cool, this one's done. Like
This one's
how do
done.
you decide that?
I don't know. It's just a vibe. You know, when I'm making a song, once I'm feeling it, and then I'll give it a break. Come back to it a couple of days later. Then if it still sounds good to me, and I'm listening to it again and again, I think, yeah, there's a vibe. Like the next track now we're doing is with Joga Jeezy, and we're releasing him with a major label now, and he came to me. Well, we started talk. We spoke about a year or so ago, a couple of years, and again, then I wasn't at the right time, and everyone's like, "When is your next album? When's your next track?" I'm like, "It's not the right time." You know, when I'm feeling it, that's the time. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When like, everyone's been asking about when's the album coming? When's the album coming? But that's what I said. I had that break. All the people, like the fans, they're still messaging, you know, all the time and commenting, saying, "But when's the next album? When's the next album?" I'm like, it's coming. But I have to be right before the album comes, because if I'm not right, then the energy is not going to be right in the track. The energy is not going to be tracking every track that I'm doing. So now's the time where I'm thinking everything's right. It's aligned. You know, the mindset's aligned, the energy's right,
Yeah.
the spirituality is right. So now I can come up with what I want to do. And now that track's coming out, and he was like, "Yeah, you know what? This track, I'm hearing it again and again and again, but I don't get bored of it." So this track we're doing now, Glassy, I think this is going to be a big one. And when we were shooting the video, it was something interesting you noticed, you know, because when you're aware and you're meditating your spirituality, you know, you're doing a thing, and then you're just watching everyone, and there's people in the room that don't listen to Bhangra. Yeah. So we're playing the track and again, and then, bruv, they're just vibing, thinking, and they're singing the lyrics, they're singing lyrics, and they're vibing. That's when you know that track is going to be a hit. Next day, few days later, yeah, people were messaging me on Instagram that were in the room when we were shooting the video. They're like, I can't get that song out of my head. But I can't get that song out of my head. I'm still singing the song even there a few days later. They haven't got the song. They only heard it on the day. They only heard it when we were listening to it on in when we were shooting the video. And they go, we can't get that song out of our head. They go, that's when you know that you're in the right state of mind. Because when you're in the right state of mind, everything that you touch, it works. That's it.
I love that, man. I love that. Is there anyone you'd like to sort of collaborate with?
I'll be honest, like moving forward, I'm gonna put my stuff out there, and I'm working with artists that I feel that got a good vibe, good energy, that got a good talent. It's not, for me, it's not always about I want to be working with the top artists. I want to be working with the people that are gonna push it.
Who's talented out there that you're looking at?
I be honest, I
Manifest
think
something.
no, like yeah, manifest, it might happen. You never know. You know what? It's up to God, man. If it happens, it's good. It'll be amazing. But yeah, Diljit is amazing. You know, I think he's got a great voice. I think he's so versatile in his acting and also in his singing, that he can do different styles and it works. That's what I like about him. And I think, yeah, one day if we have a chance to collaborate with him, it'd be good. I think it'd be good. Him, Karan Aujla, I love his style because his lyrics are different. So if ever I was going to do a track, I would do something different. So when I want to work with an artist, I would want to do something slightly different than what they're already doing. So if someone's doing some certain style, that's just what I would like to do. I'll probably switch the style and try to do something slightly different. So when fans hear it, they don't hear the same sort of sound. They'll hear something different. So if someone's doing soul hip hop, I would try something different with them. So when it comes out, it's creative. It's something new. So these are some of the artists I love to work with.
And is it only just in like the Punjabi space or Asian space you like working in, or would you do something which is more like urban or pop sort of
Pop,
thing?
yeah. I've seen some good artists that are out there. I'll be honest, I'm quite versatile. So when I make a beat or I'm gonna make a house track or a hip hop track, because you got that kind of music ability, you can create any track that can work in that sense. And yeah, I haven't really sat down and done it, planned it out. Like, oh yeah, I want to work at this artist. We're not that artist. All I'm doing now is I'm just focusing on that time at the moment. That's it. And then whatever comes after, that's when it starts to happen.
In saying that, how do you hold that tradition of Punjabi sort of tradition sort of thing and also being authentic yourself? So
Yeah.
creating it your style. How do you balance that?
So like in terms of you're saying how do you keep it like desi?
Still desi, still traditional, still something that people go, that's
Yeah.
Punjabi, that's Bhangra, but then still keep it authentic to you to go,
That's my style.
That's it.
Yeah. I think with my style, I like to have it desi because that's my background. Desi, danceable. But my style is something that has catchy melodies to it. Because some of the people I follow, the inspiration I've had as a producer, one of the top producers is Scott Storch. So I'm not sure if you know Scott Storch. Scott Storch is the one who produced all of 50 Cent's albums. He also produced Still Dre. So, so me and him, we talk a lot on Insta and stuff like that. And he follows me. So you'll see him on my Insta. He'll follow me. Very big artist, and he's worked with all the top artists. P Diddy to 50 Cent to Dr. Dre, all the biggest, and he's one of my biggest inspiration because his production style is melodic. Like it's got that vibe. When they done that, all those, even that lean back, then this is the guy that made all this, and he was the one that done it, and even when we were talking back, he's like, "Bruv, your style is good. I love your music. It's so creative." He's posted stuff on me singing on the piano. He's posted on his profiles, re-liked it, and he's like, "Yeah, when your next album comes, man, I'll be supporting you. I'm gonna be posting your stuff all over Instagram as well." So having that kind of backing from someone like that, and that recognition that that thing that you're doing the right thing. That's a big thing for me, and that will then open up new doors for hip hop artists that I would be looking at working with.
That sounds big, bro.
That's big, yeah.
Some biggest songs that you've ever heard.
Biggest songs, biggest hits that you heard, and that was the real hip hop. So when you're looking at Bhangra hip hop, that I don't feel that's hip hop. But when this guy, he made hip hop, he's the one who made it. But Still Dre, come on, those are the songs. That's where hip hop came from.
I love that, man. I love that.
Yeah.
How does that empower you that you're speaking to that guy?
Yeah. It's what it's good. It's a good feeling because I've always looked up to. I've always heard his songs when I was in school. Even when I was young, like year 7, year 8, year 9, people, my friends were all playing football, but they were out there. Like they were out there playing football in the playground. But I was in the music room. I was in the music room making beats, and the songs and beats I was listening to were his. All like 15, like what's that tune? But he made that tune as well. What's that tune? The 50 Cent one. Is it Go Shawty? Is Shuba? Those kind of songs. These are the songs I was listening to, and I was like trying to get that sound and like that, all that kind of stuff. But listen, having feedback from someone like that, that's really inspiring. really inspiring for those.
Priceless.
Mm.
So what's to come with your new music, bro?
Well, this album is going to be interesting. It's going to be a different mix of artists. So we're speaking to a few big names. I can't drop more because we have to finalize all of them. But yeah, we're collecting vocals from some good artists, big artists in UK and in India. So there's going to be an interesting sort of mix, and it's going to be around a different vibe, but also what's to come is also the visuals. The visuals is going to be up. I'm be looking at 8 tracks, 8 different singers, and 8 different videos. So every video is going to be a theme, like a movie in there. So it'll be a different theme, different vibe, all shot looking like a movie, and then be AI or different type of film type of things in there.
Wow. So you're
So
bringing a different mix to
I'm
this
doing
whole
a different
game.
mix. Yeah, I want to bring something different into the mix. But then let's see where it goes, because I've got a lot of background in tech. So pulling in my AI sort of stuff in there, and then maybe launching something. I don't know. I'm thinking about it. But once the followers get big up, we're in a bull run of crypto. So I might look at launch a meme coin or launch a coin backing up my utility project with the AI. So the AI that helps you get to the next. That helps you get a hit song. That could be the utility behind it. So we don't know. Let's see. Once it gets enough following, it could be a crypto coin in there.
So even though you're maturing now through
Yeah.
your ages and stuff, you think we should be embracing technology and AI?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. You know what? It's taking over a lot of industries, especially digital office work, lawyers. You got ChatGPT that's picked up quite massively, the 4.0, and then suddenly, like, you've had DeepSeek just come out and kill the whole stock market as well. It just tanked it because I think it was ChatGPT was costing about 100 million or something. I can't remember what number it was to train a model, and DeepSeek done it in 5 million. So they significantly reduced the amount of cost, and this way it thinks. So before you'd have ChatGPT doing a model, and it will tell you the answers. Now it's starting to think. So it gets your response, and it's got the R1 deep thinking. So now it starts to think about the responses. So it's got its own brain now. So it's interesting where it's going. And then Alibaba launched one, and it's sort of China one, and it's made a massive difference. But in terms of moving forward, I think people should definitely be looking at using AI, because it's the future, and it's gonna be, if you're not using it, you're gonna be left behind. And you need to be embracing it. You need to understand it, because there's a lot of jobs, there's a lot of changes happening in the industry.
How far are they going to take it? Because there's
It's
talk about quantum computers now.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
And within 3 to 5 years, they should be incorporated. And if normal computers are here, quantum is literally up there. It's going to be the
processing.
most. It's more like a calculator. It calculates
so
everything.
fast.
It's gonna rewrite the history books of every single law, sort of of
Yeah.
attraction, of speed, of relativity, or how far
Exactly.
planets are. Like,
Yeah.
isn't that really scary?
It is. I think that's what I said. Like, this is where, for me, because I've seen that world, and I've been within the AI industry now, and I've seen some stuff that's going on, and the speed that it's moving, it's shocking, the way it's moving. Like, when I was saying, we were using my first version of video. I done a video recently just for socials, and it was just certain models were moving, but there wasn't consistency in the characters. Like, when I was making this sort of short film music video, now the version 2 I'm going to upload and do, it's going to be so realistic that it's moved so fast, and is learning everything so fast, and it's deep learning, so it's learning itself and improving itself. So that's what AI is. When you have a deep model, you have to know what is it learning, what is it doing behind the scenes. It's not just, oh, it's a response, a take response and give it. It's an actual there's a model behind it there's generative AI, they call it. So, but it's moving so fast in that sense. It's gonna get further to a level where I don't know who, if it replaces humans. It's that deep Terminator stuff going on, because they're looking at, it's fast. It's going so fast, and even robotics, they've got the machines. They're just gonna plug in the brain, which is AI, and you've got a human there, as fast a human that can process maths, that can process law, that can process English, or do all these kind of things faster than a human.
Is there any like stocks that you're looking at that are backing AI that you think I'm gonna get a piece of that because when that blows?
Yeah, recent I was looking at, because I had some emails about the pre IPO of OpenAI, so I was going to invest in that. But then I think there was some kind of issues with getting the shares on it. But I haven't looked into it properly because I think the industry is just inflated at the moment, and that's why you saw a massive rise in the whole stocks. And then in the video, everything was going up massively, OpenAI, and then suddenly you saw a massive drop, and I think that was a pinnacle point where investors pulled out because of the the steep seek, and that's what thing it changed it. So I think yeah, I don't know if I would be going too much into AI stocks at the moment, purely because the fact that it's changing and it's moving so fast, where they building cost models cheaper, and then if you're investing in something, suddenly it's gone, and we had an AI company as well. We were building an AI startup that it was a cold outreach called Leadliner. It would actually analyze your LinkedIn profile or your website, and when you're writing an outreach, you just throw in all the data. Like, here's all the website, here's the LinkedIn data, here's the emails, whatever. You can get that data, and then it will scan every website, every LinkedIn. It will understand what that person's about, what they're doing, what they're kind of, what's their latest, I don't know, portfolio stuff. Then it will understand what's the latest post on LinkedIn. It will analyze, oh, you've just had a podcast recently, and then when it writes in cold outreach email, it'll personalize it based on the data we've stored on it. So it'll say, oh, hi Sean, just was really impressed by your recent podcast with Ted. Oh, brilliant. How was the podcast? Oh, by the way, this is happening in, for example, podcast world. There's many things we do, this. Is it, oh, would you be open for a chat? And then they reply back, and it'll think about the response, reply back to them in that. So it will have that kind of cold outreach, and then set you up with an appointment. Say, oh yeah, by the way, if you want to have a chat, here's my Calendly link. Let's pop it in. So it'll have that personalized lead generation. And then after that, if you haven't answered, they'll pick up the phone call, and this will be all in an automated system. And they'll call them and say, oh, by the way, I just sent you an email, and then have a full-on conversation. You won't even know if it's real. So now the AI is getting, I'll show you some stuff. The AI is getting so realistic that it's responding like a real human. It will talk to you. It will have a conversation with you.
Wow.
So, and then it'll book in your calendar. It will do this. It'll automate the responses, and it's getting to that level. That was a couple of years ago. We were building that. We were building AI calling.
Wow.
So, and now the advancements is gone much more advanced now. Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
crazy, man. So before we wrap this one, we want to ask you a few rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
So Taj, what's your favorite Punjabi food?
Punjabi food, butter chicken.
Yeah?
Yeah, homemade as well. My wife makes it really well.
I heard that about 15, 20 years ago. You had that answer, so it still ain't changed.
Hey, the butter chicken changed that keema as well. I love keema. So yeah, those are my two favorites.
Okay. So you wouldn't go like vegetarian or vegan or anything like that?
I've been no, I wouldn't go vegan. I went on keto for a little while, which was interesting, and that I lost quite a lot of weight. But now, yeah, my diet stuff I've like really controlled, and I also do a lot of homeopathic medicines as well. So very natural stuff. Yeah.
Love that. What's your dream vacation? Or
Oh
have you been on that already?
no, I haven't been. The one I want to go is to Hawaii. Because the stuff I do with the meditation stuff and the path I'm doing is in Hawaii, so it's originated there.
Wow.
So that's where I want to go as well. One of my destinations.
Coffee or chai?
I'm a chai man. I do drink a bit of coffee, but I'm more of a chai man. Indian tea.
And how do people sort of stay in touch with you now? So in terms of following your journey and keeping up to date with some of your projects that you're up to.
Instagram, I'm active on there. You can message me on there. And the Taj-E producer. So yeah, you'll see that. and yeah, all the latest stuff, the new album, whatever I'm talking about doing, a lot of mindset stuff, a lot of music stuff, and the journey I'm going on. That's yeah, it's there.
And what's the main message you're given from this podcast? So somebody sitting down and watching, what is that one thing that they would have that you are trying to get across to them?
One of my main messages is probably if you're in a certain way or things aren't going right in your life and journey, I say definitely focus on your mindset. Find out what's going on in your thoughts. Understand that you are not your thoughts. You're not your mind, and you know you got to understand there's a differentiation between you and what you are and what your thoughts are doing. So control that and be aware of it. Be aware of your body. Be aware of your mind. Be aware of your thoughts, and then once you're aware of it, try to change it because you're in control. And that's reality. So if something's not going right in your life, understand that you created that. So you created that kind of problem. So even if it's someone else's problem or someone else has come to you with a problem, you can say that, you have to understand that that's your problem, and you got to understand how to clean that and do it. Once you understand that, then yeah, things can start changing in your life.
Well, you've been absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming
No problem.
today. And that's it for today, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that episode. We've had a music producer in the house telling us his creative mind on how he's created beats. We've heard some fantastic instruments that you've probably never even seen before, but Taj-E is gonna be like, honestly, that them instruments that he's been playing, I've never even heard some of these live. So we want to bring that back. We're going to be putting some clips out so people know about this and carry on sort of this legacy of making sure that these instruments don't die. And that's what Taj-E is here to do, is to bring some of these vibes back. And I hope you really enjoyed that episode. And if you have, don't forget to smash the subscribe button, leave us a comment. I promise he'll answer the questions, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Peace.